I'm so fucking irritated as a bitch. Fuck, like, bro, do not fall in love. Do not. Bitch, that shit is not for the weak, bro. I'm telling you, bro. This shit will make you want to do some shit, boy. Some serious shit, boy. I'm telling you. Cause ain't no fucking way. Fuck, and I need weed too, bitch.
Man, this whole time, bro, they made us fucking think Africa was such a poor country, bro.
They got buildings. They got power. They got towers. Swear on everything, bro. I thought it was just clay and tribes and tents, bro. Yeah, cause the ground be like, you know, like that red orange type of clay, bro. Chad, don't.
With war, crime, and all that.
Africa is the only continent that does not have to import anything. They don't need your oil. They don't need your gas. They don't need your gold. They don't need your food. They don't need your rice. They don't need your cattle. They don't need your corn. They don't need nothing. It is the only continent that does not have to import anything.
The I Show Speed African stream pisses me the heck off. It just shows how willfully ignorant Americans can be. And of course, it's not all Americans, but this is just crazy. Because what do you mean you don't know that not everybody in Africa is poor and we don't live in huts? And you're coming on the internet and crying about these things. There's only so much you can blame the education system. A simple Google search would change those beliefs. In a world where information is literally free, TikTok, Instagram, Google, there is no excuse to think like that. You were just comfortable with those stereotypes in your head. And that, my friend, is called ignorance. There's really...
Hi guys, I'm in the mood to yap, so let's yap. I don't know if you guys have been seeing the I Show Speed videos in Africa, but I have, and I've been seeing some responses from fellow African Americans in the US. Fun fact, I was born in the Republic of Mali, but I grew up in the US. So a lot of my teachings has like a Western background, but being from a West African family, I feel like I have a unique perspective and experience. So anyways, so this video I'll play for you guys of this African American man crying because he feels like he's been lied to about Africa and he has this yearning to go to Africa and experience Africa. And I hate saying Africa because, like, mind you, there's more than 40 countries in Africa and Africa is not monolithic. And I want to talk about this issue because when I saw the video, I was so irritated. Guys, I was so annoyed because when I first came to America and I was in elementary school, I got into my first fight ever. And mind you, I do not fight. I'm not a fighter. I got into my first fight ever because so many of my classmates, and mind you, I went to predominantly African American elementary school, so many of my classmates would bully me because they felt like I was inferior to them because I was African. And, you know, I had to protect myself. But anyways, and then in middle school, people would ask me dumb questions like, do you fly helicopters to school every day? Are there elephants and lions in your backyard? How do you get water? Just dumbass questions. Excuse my language. And I remember I got into a long argument with this guy who was telling me that Africa is basically monolithic, where there's just safari and deserts and animals roaming everywhere, because that's what he has seen on the documentary channels. And I'm sitting here, you know, an African who was born in Africa, who has family in Africa, and he would not listen to me. And it used to irritate me so bad, like, you know, I was just like, he's just so ignorant, you know? And then I got to high school and college, you know, I'm more mature now, and I've been learning a lot about, you know, just like Africa and what it means to be African and from the diaspora. And I just want to say that I have so much sympathy for those people now, especially like African Americans who are, you know, crying because they realize that the reality that they've been thought about Africa is a lie. And I say this because I feel like this is...
Speed to Africa tour is kind of scaring me right now because the amount of people admitting that they didn't realize that Africa wasn't just like sticks and mud. That, like, you know, Africa actually has, you know, modern technology and roads and running water and all that type of stuff. And then that Africa is a continent, you know, not a country. I've seen clips of Speed's story, and like, I love it because every place he goes, he kind of rewrites like the stereotype or the image that people have in their head, and he shows that, hey, like, this is a normal place. But especially with Africa, some of y'all I genuinely like worry about. Because even when people who are like, oh, but you know, the American propaganda makes you think that Africa is just like nothing and extremely all this. Guys, can you do a little bit of research and maybe just like a little bit of logical thinking? Like, do you really think an entire continent will just be sticks in mud and tribal people? If you just look up Africa City, you will see so many cities that look just like ours with skyscrapers.
I made a video about how Speed going to Africa on tour revealed to us how many idiots thought that Africa was just pure huts and they didn't have water and they were just poor. Everyone in the comments was just like, but that's what the schools taught us. Like, it's not my problem. That's what my school taught me. Like, they didn't teach me any better. Like, ain't no way your school taught you that an entire continent did not have an ounce of water. Are you okay? Like, what was the teacher like, hey guys, let's talk about Africa. So first, Africa doesn't have water and they don't have any buildings and they just live in huts and they actually don't have any electricity. Okay, so next subject, like, what are you actually talking about? There's no way school taught you that. Like, if you skipped all your classes or slept in all your classes, just say that. Like, you don't have to lie, I promise. But my school, that's what my school taught me. Like, it's not even my problem because that's what my school, no. You didn't know that an entire continent had water? That's just, like, there's something.
Look, I'm happy that Speed is showing people that Africa is not what they heard. It's not all Sahara Desert. It's not all mud huts. It's not all bald kids with flies swimming around their heads with big stomachs. It is way more than that. There's actually infrastructure there. What's concerning me is why it took you guys so long to figure that out. I'm not trying to say it as a mean thing. I'm not trying to, like, offend anybody, but me being Haitian American, I've been able to kind of like peer into Haiti from like a Haitian side. So like when I hear stuff like, oh, Haiti doesn't have trees, there's deforestation going on in Haiti. And while some of that is true, when you go look at people who are actually living in Haiti, if you look at their like social media and stuff like that, there's trees all around. Like, it's very confusing. Like, Haiti looks like a Caribbean country. It doesn't look like the Sahara Desert. I know that because I actually peer into Haitian like content from the Haitians' perspective. I understand that's not like necessarily like Black Americans thing, you know, they can't really do that. But still, it's kind of scaring me that y'all are not verifying your facts. Because say with like people, a lot of people, especially Black people, whenever someone tells them don't go to this country's racist, they don't go. They don't even try to verify it for themselves. They just listen. And I think that's very problematic, and I think this is one of the reasons why it needs to stop. Because we need to verify for ourselves. If I listened to people, I would not have gone to Germany because Germany is racist towards
East Africans. Seriously, what is your bone to pick with Egyptians? Egyptians are black. Have you guys been to Egypt? Have you been to Upper Egypt? There are plenty of black Egyptians. Our origins come from melanin. My grandparents are darker skinned. There's colorism. It exists in the Asian community. It also exists in all African communities. It doesn't change the fact that we as Egyptians are not like Europeans. I've seen the videos discussing the race of the ancient Egyptians. And now today I'm seeing videos from Speed's Live where he's in front of the pyramids and it's East Africans saying, Egypt is the most boring country. Egypt is so boring. So which one is it? Like, genuinely, people just, you guys just want to hate. I saw a clip where Speed tells a man a fact about the pyramids and the man's like, I can't speak. I don't know. That man is European. That man is clearly a tourist. And then I see a video of Speed looking overwhelmed and like some sad music on top of it. And then I hear some noise in the background and I'm like, what is that language? It's German. It's like, it's not even Arabic. Like, genuinely, I was scared. I was worried. Don't get me wrong. It's German. And like, I don't know what this propaganda is against Egyptians. We're not like, there's no ploy. I saw another clip where Speed is complaining about how it's really hard to film in Egypt. Can't tell you the number of times I've been told that my camera isn't allowed. I have to put my camera away. I held up a Palestinian flag. I got in trouble for it too. The reality is that Egyptians live under a strict dictatorship and they struggle every day. I'm starting to think that this is some type of psyop to divide Africa because what did Egyptians do? It exists in the Arab world too. Egyptians are Arab speaking people and there is massive propaganda from the Gulf.
Very available. You also need to be busy, you know.
Yeah. 17 Pro Maxi.
Yeah, bana.
Unatoka hata before Steve Jobs aitoe.
Bana.
Tim Cook ana launch kama ishapigwa order.
Hey, bana. It's giving Aisha Speed watu wako like, "Oh my god, in Africa there's internet. Oh, there's building." Kama na
watu wako na lack of exposure wallahi.
So analia, what Americans wakilia kwa simu wakisema, "Oh my god, speed amechange life." Africa ni beautiful, wako wanajua all the new, wamesoma ni vumbi, misitu,
hakuna wifi hadi ama mneti.
Guy walikuwa radhi tunapanda elephant kwenda job. Imagine.
Bro,
kuna mwanaume ako na 3 wives pale ameonyeshwa kwa nini ya Speed.
Actually na give zile stories za wazazi wetu kitambo.
Tulikuwa shule.
Bana. Ati tunavuka mto big
yo sana. Comment sections wazani baba Mkenya kwa like
sasa mtaro by the.
Unalia nini?
Mazizoea.
Whoa. Hey. Calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the knife. Don't pull out the knife.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, like.
But on a lighter note,
Yeah.
It even made me realize. Do you guys think Nairobi is romanticized on social media only?
To be honest, Nairobi is very beautiful, bro.
Mbaya.
Hatuwezi ruka hiyo fact. Nairobi is very beautiful. Ni vile tu watu wako Nairobi ndo. Ndio shida. Lakini the city itself is very beautiful.
It's so pretty.
Like we were even walking outside Upper Hill, we're like, wow, like look at this place.
Absolutely.
Unatembea kwa street fulani unasikia huko ndio pale unatupiwa mafi, lakini ukiangalia street yenyewe inakaa poa.
Bro, wapi?
Wewe mafia gang wapi huko?
Ile time fulani kitambo. Oh.
No, like genuinely, I feel like.
Sindio nasema hizo streets ziko beautiful.
There was even an argument where he.
Speed, the influencer, right? He did a tour in different African countries. And the reaction I saw of American, like young guys mostly, one guy was even crying. He was like, "Oh my God, they've shown us Africa, and Africa is just really amazing, and they showed us only that there are poor people there." Honestly, that's propaganda. I remember growing up in the Netherlands. Like the Netherlands is like a 7-hour flight from America. It's far. It's further. America's further than Ghana. Just understand that. Ghana is closer and there's no time difference. Just an hour time difference. That's nothing. If I go to America, it's already like 5-hour time difference. Anyway, when I look at a TV, you watch a program. As a kid, you see, donate to this and this, and then you see African children, and then you see flies going into their eyes, and like, they're so poor, so donate now. So all of these charities and all these companies were just putting these images in our heads. And I assumed that in America it was even worse than in Europe. But still, even my own Surinamese community, they don't understand. They're now starting to understand because of social media that Africa is dope, is amazing. So, and every country has their struggles. Like, when I went to America, I was in shock when I saw how many people are living on the streets. How many people are sleeping. Like, you have, like, rows of cars, and then you see their stuff in it, and it stinks, and they sleep in their car. It's terrible. I've seen people on the street with, like, families, like 5 children. They don't have a house. Like, it was crazy. But those images are not shown. The images only of the riches, the luxury. Let's do that.
First, let's talk about why a growing number of Americans believe that Africa is becoming one of the most desirable places to live today. The first thing many of them mention is the sense of freedom. Freedom to express their opinions, freedom to connect with others, and freedom to experience life in their own way. Many people say that when they arrive in Africa, they immediately notice a spirit of openness and hospitality. Regardless of where they come from, or what cultural background they have, they find it easy to meet people, share meals, have conversations, build friendships, and create memorable experiences. As a result, more and more individuals are beginning to view Africa as an attractive place to live. At the same time, many Americans are expressing growing frustration with the state of their own lives at home. Many farmers have publicly appealed to the government and hope to receive support from Trump, but according to them, those expectations have not been fulfilled. This has led many people to ask an important question. Why would someone want to leave the United States, a country often viewed as the land of opportunity, employment, and economic advancement, to move to Africa? What has caused such a shift in perspective? One reason is that they have personally witnessed how communities in many African countries are living and developing. For years, many people believed that Africa was defined by poverty, hardship, inadequate housing, limited transportation, and a lack of basic living conditions. Those images remained deeply rooted in their minds for a long time. However, after visiting the continent themselves, many discovered a very different reality. They saw modern neighborhoods, busy roadways, growing cities, and people living in homes, owning personal vehicles, and enjoying stable lives. These experiences led them to wonder how different reality might be from the long-standing narratives they had heard. For some, those observations have even prompted them to consider leaving the United States in search of a new life. Many individuals who once placed their trust in Trump now say they feel deeply disappointed. They believe they offered their full support, participated in elections, and placed their hopes in the promises that were made. Yet today, some feel they have lost too much, from jobs and income to a sense of stability in their daily lives. Some even say they are facing the possibility of losing their homes or dealing with hardships they never expected to experience. This raises another question. Between the United States and Africa, where are more people currently experiencing homelessness? Who is sleeping in vehicles, under bridges, or struggling every day to find a safe place to stay? These are among the issues that many people continue to debate in public discussions. Some argue that if they were misled about promises concerning life at home, perhaps the information they were given about Africa may not have been entirely accurate either. For years, they were told that Africa was poor, dangerous, lacking in security, infrastructure, and economic opportunity. But after seeing conditions firsthand, many have begun to question those assumptions. They also raise questions about the history of resource extraction and economic exploitation on the continent. In their view, many outside countries benefited from Africa's natural resources and labor for generations, while many African nations faced significant challenges in their own development. Today, many people believe that perceptions of Africa have changed dramatically. They argue that as more people become aware of the continent's development and progress, outdated stereotypes will gradually disappear. And, as real-world images and experiences become increasingly accessible, maintaining old misconceptions becomes more difficult than ever. Many now believe it is no longer easy to convince the public that the entire continent of Africa remains trapped in poverty, as was often portrayed in the past. The reason is simple. People can now verify information for themselves through the internet, online videos, and personal travel experiences. In particular, the live streams of iShowSpeed have influenced how many people view Africa. Because the footage is broadcast in real time, without extensive editing or post-production, viewers are able to observe everyday life in various African countries more authentically. As a result, many have gained a greater appreciation for the infrastructure, urban development, and quality of life found in numerous regions across the continent. For Americans, especially African Americans, who are considering reconnecting with their roots or exploring the possibility of living in Africa, the advice often given is simple: experience it for yourself. Take the time to explore different countries, meet local people, learn about the culture, understand the living environment, and observe how society functions before making any major decisions. After seeing and experiencing things firsthand, each individual can decide what place is best suited to their own goals and aspirations. Whether someone chooses to remain in the United States or move to a country in Africa, the most important thing is finding an environment that offers opportunity, stability, and personal happiness. Wishing everyone peace and well-being, and I look forward to seeing you again in future content.